Climbing 2 stairs at a time feels quick, but you wear out fast. Cars would do the same if they stayed in one gear. Because of this reason, cars have a transmission so they can take it one step at a time and keep things smooth. There are different types of transmissions, and we will explain them all in this video, starting with the manual transmission. Manual transmission is the oldest type of transmission used in cars. Its roots go back to the late 1800s. By 1891, Panhard at Levasseur already had a multi-speed setup. Old school and a little brutal. Early manuals were tricky. Drivers had to match gear speeds by feel. Miss the timing and you'd get a nasty grind. As time went on, engineers introduced synchronous technology, which allowed gears to engage more smoothly. How it works is simple. You've got 3 pedals: clutch, brake, and accelerator. Press the clutch to separate the engine from the wheels. Move the shifter to pick your gear, then release the clutch to reconnect and drive. Because you decide exactly when to shift, a manual makes driving more hands-on and a lot more involved. Even though automatic transmissions dominate today, some cars still proudly offer a stick shift. Examples include enthusiast favorites like the Mazda MX-5 Miata, Honda Civic Si and Type R, Ford Mustang, BMW M2 and M3, Jeep Wrangler, and Hyundai Elantra Autre Selmen. Luxury and sports brands such as Aston Martin, like in the 2024 Valor and the 2024 Valiant, have kept manuals alive in select models. These cars show that while manuals are no longer mainstream, they remain a core part of driving culture. Enthusiasts love manuals, but they're harder to learn and can be tiring, so many drivers prefer the next transmission. Automatic transmission. Automatic transmissions changed driving for good. The big leap came in 1939 when GM launched the Hydramatic, the first mass-produced automatic. From there, we went from early units to today's 8, 9, and even 10-speed gearboxes run by electronics. So, what do they actually do? 2 things. Connect engine power to the wheels smoothly and change gears without you doing a thing. Instead of a clutch, most automatics use a torque converter, a fluid coupling that lets the engine keep running at a stop and delivers buttery takeoffs. Modern torque converters add a lock-up clutch and clever control for better efficiency. Want a deep dive on torque converters? Drop a comment and I'll make one. In an automatic transmission, gear changes happen through planetary gear sets. By locking or releasing different parts of these gears, the transmission can create low gears for acceleration, high gears for cruising, and even reverse. Automatic transmission, fluid or ATF, keeps all of this lubricated, cool, and running smoothly. In older transmissions, shifts were controlled by hydraulic valves, but modern systems rely on sensors and computer units that adapt to how you drive, whether you're easing along gently or accelerating hard. Using one is simple because, well, it's automatic. The shifter's PRND covers daily driving, and many cars add sport, eco, or even manual modes with paddles for extra control. You'll find automatics everywhere: family sedans like the Toyota Camry, workhorses like the Ford F-150, and luxury models from Cadillac and beyond. For most drivers, they're the default. If you love the gear shifts but hate the clutch, the next gearbox was made just for you. A regular manual gearbox smart enough to do the pedal work for you. Automated Manual Transmission, AMT Single Clutch Auto. Just from the name, you can see this type of transmission combines what we have just talked about. Imagine taking a regular manual car and teaching a computer to handle the clutch and shift the gears for you. That's all an AMT really is. You don't have a clutch pedal, and you don't need to worry about when to shift. Actuators and sensors do that job. This makes AMTS a popular choice for small, affordable city cars like the Suzuki Alto, Tata Tiago, or Fiat Panda. They strike a balance between the cost of a manual and the convenience of an automatic. Because they're mechanically simple and based on manual gearboxes, they're cheaper to produce and maintain. On top of that, they tend to deliver fuel economy very close to a manual, which is great for everyday commuting. When it comes to the driving experience, this is where you notice some differences. Since it's still working with a single clutch, gear changes in an AMT often feel jerky or slow, especially in stop-and-go traffic. In a car with this type of transmission, you may experience a head nod effect when the car shifts. On hills or when overtaking, the hesitation is more noticeable. If this is your kind of car nerd stuff, subscribe for more car explainer videos. Dual clutch transmission, DCT or DSG. The dual clutch transmission, often called DCT or DSG, is one of the most advanced types of gearboxes found in modern cars. The idea for this transmission was first conceived in the 30s. Porsche experimented with it in racing to achieve lightning-fast shifts, and Volkswagen was the first to bring it into mass production with the early 2000s Golf R32. Since then, DCTs have become a popular choice in sporty road cars across many brands. So, what makes a DCT different? Imagine two manual gearboxes inside a single transmission, each with its own clutch. One clutch manages the odd gears like first, third, and fifth, while the other handles the even ones. As you drive in one gear, the transmission already pre-selects the next gear on the other clutch. When it's time to shift, one clutch disengages while the other engages, creating a nearly seamless change in just milliseconds. This makes cars with DCTs feel so quick and responsive. DCT transmissions use two types of clutches, which are dry clutches and wet clutches. Dry clutches are lighter and simpler, often found in smaller cars, but they can struggle under heavy loads. Wet clutches, on the other hand, sit in an oil bath, allowing them to handle more power and torque without overheating. This makes them the go-to choice for high-performance sports cars and supercars. Different car makers have their own brand names for DCTs. Volkswagen calls theirs DSG, Porsche uses PDK, Audi uses S-Tronic, and Alfa Romeo has its TCT. No matter the name, the principle is the same. Merge two manual systems and have ultra-fast, efficient shifting. You'll see DCTs in cars like the VW Golf GTI, Porsche 911, and Hyundai i30N, as well as in many performance-oriented Audi, Mercedes-AMG, and Ferrari models. This transmission isn't all smiles and thrills. It has its share of reliability problems. The most common are clutch wear and, in some models, mechatronic unit failures. Wet clutches raise the torque ceiling, but they also add weight and cost. If you would like to chase the same lightning-fast shifts with fewer compromises, the semi-automatic or sequential gearbox would be a good option for you. Semi-automatic or sequential gearbox. Semi-automatic or sequential gearboxes sit between a traditional manual and a fully automatic. They were developed for motorsport, where every fraction of a second counts, and the technology eventually made its way into road cars and motorcycles. How this system works is very simple. You as the driver still decide when to change gears, but the system handles the clutch for you using electronics and hydraulics. You just flick the gear lever forward or backward, or sometimes use paddles behind the steering wheel, and the transmission does the rest. This makes gear changes faster and smoother compared to a traditional manual, especially at high speeds. Semi-automatic gearboxes gained attention in the late 1990s when cars like the Ferrari or EF355 F1 and BMW's SMG system brought Formula One-inspired technology to everyday drivers. Motorcycles also widely use this system because it allows riders to shift quickly without needing to manage a clutch lever every time. But not every automatic chases driver involvement. Some chase smoothness and MPG above all else. We are talking about the CVT, where the shifts go missing and so does a chunk of the fun. Continuously Variable Transmission, CVT. A continuously variable transmission, or CVT, is an automatic transmission designed to deliver power smoothly without the familiar step-by-step shifts. Instead of fixed gears, it uses two variable pulleys linked by a steel belt or chain. By widening or narrowing the pulleys, it creates an effectively endless range of ratios, keeping the engine in its efficiency sweet spot. The catch? To many drivers, it feels like a rubber band. You hit the gas, the revs drone, and the car sort of winds up rather than snapping through gears. It's efficient and smooth, sure, but if you enjoy crisp shifts, engine notes that rise and fall, and a sense of mechanical rhythm, a CVT can turn a spirited drive into, well, a blender on puree. The idea of a transmission that could vary gears infinitely isn't new. In fact, Leonardo da Vinci sketched an early concept in the 15th century. Later, in the late 1800s, Milton Reeves developed a version for machinery before adapting it to early automobiles. The first production car to actually use one was the Dutch DAF 600 in the 1950s with its variomatic system. But it wasn't until the late 1980s, with cars like the Subaru Justy, that steel-belted and electronically controlled CVTs began reaching mainstream vehicles. Since then, advancements in materials and technology have made them increasingly popular in everyday cars like Toyota, Honda, and Subaru use them to balance performance and efficiency. Drivers who own cars with CVTs often describe the rubber band effect, where pressing the accelerator makes the engine rev up and stay at a high pitch while the car gradually catches up. This type of transmission offers less thrill, and durability has also been a concern. The belt and pulleys can struggle under heavy loads or aggressive driving, leading to overheating, vibrations, or failures. For instance, Nissan's CVTs have faced criticism and even lawsuits due to reliability problems. CVTs are now found in many popular models, including the Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, and Subaru Outback. And there you have it, the different types of transmissions out there. Which one do you use, and how is it going so far?